morning, everyone. This is Dana from NexGen, and I am very excited today because today we're going to talk about tax sales. But before we do that, I need to make sure that we do a disclaimer because this is for information purposes only, and we're going to be talking to our special guest, Mr. Larry Brown, to get his experience on tax sales. Now, again, every situation is different. And based on the questions that we got in the comments section, you will see why. So, before I introduce our distinguished guest, I'm going to go ahead and show our very first question. And our first question is, what is a tax lien? Now, a lot of people will get tax liens and tax deeds confused. So, what a tax lien is it's a legal claim against assets of an individual or business that fails to pay taxes owed to the government. In general, the lien serves as a guaranteed payment of the debt, such as a loan, or in this case, taxes. If the obligation is not satisfied, the creditor may proceed to seize the assets. In addition to that, another thing is that if the property is sold, then the lien, of course, would have to be satisfied. So, that getting that question out of the way, I wanted to also give you a definition for a tax lien versus a tax deed. And with the tax lien, the investor that we'll be talking to in just a few minutes is going to be getting a rate of return. With a tax deed, the winner of the auction, and they're both in the same type of setting, is actually going to get the title of the property. So that is the big difference between a tax lien and a tax deed. Now, what I'd like to do to because of all the questions that we have is I wanted to give you give you some scenarios when this situation could occur. But before we do that, I wanted to let everyone to make sure that all homeowners, if they run into any challenges with paying their taxes, I would recommend that they seek help immediately. There are many programs out there that can help you with your taxes so that it doesn't get this far. So, let me go ahead and give you some examples of a situation where we can go into. Um, in this case, tonight we're going to be talking about a tax lien. So, usually when people purchase a house, they purchase the house with a mortgage. And with the mortgage, in addition to the principals and interest that we've talked about before, they have what they call escrow. And with the escrow, that is money that the mortgage company is going to keep to pay the taxes and insurance. And that is homeowners insurance. And in some cases, PITI. And we've talked about that before. Now, even though the mortgage company or the lender is going to be paying the taxes out of the property taxes out of the escrow, the homeowner is still responsible for paying the taxes. So a lot of times the homeowner may get the tax bill in the mail. And they also may have annotation that the loan company is going to pay those taxes. I would recommend that you go back and make sure that the taxes were paid. In 2008, some bad actors were not paying the taxes. So that's one example of making sure that the taxes are paid. Another is if you don't have escrow and you're paying the mortgage and well, you're paying the mortgage payment and the insurance, but you're paying the taxes and insurance independent of the mortgage. In that case, you'll receive the tax bill and you'll be responsible for paying it. Another scenario is if the house is paid or the property is paid off and there is no mortgage. Then you will get the tax bill and the homeowner will be responsible for making a payment. Now, there is another scenario where the homeowner or homeowners have passed away. And this is why estate planning is so important because you want to make sure, especially if the house is paid off, that there are things in place to make sure that the taxes are paid for the property. Also, there may be another situation where you have multiple owners. So these are the scenarios where there may be a situation where you have challenges with your taxes. So let's say you get the tax bill and you don't pay it. You're going to get several notifications. And again, every state, every county, every city, every municipality does do things differently. And let me back up. There are 36 states that do tax liens, and there are 31 states that do tax deeds. Now, granted, that goes to 67. So there are some states that do both the tax lien and the tax deed. So so I just want to make sure you knew that. So there may be a situation where you cannot or do not pay the taxes. You are notified multiple times to pay the taxes. Excuse me. And a lot of times, each time you go past the date that is due, you will accrue interest. Then there will be a situation where they have what they call a tax sale. And even the day before or even the day of the tax sales, you still have the opportunity to pay the taxes. So, with that, I would like to welcome our guest who will be talking about the tax sale. So, if everyone can please welcome Mr. Larry Brown. Sir, thank you so much for coming to us and sharing your information and sharing your experience as with respect to the tax sale.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me and welcome everyone. I want to start off saying we're coming from the beautiful state of South Carolina. So if you ever get a chance to visit us, please do so. I want to refer to this as being the delinquent tax sale. I'll probably using that term a lot to keep us on the right path and make sure we stay on track with what we need to discuss concerning delinquent tax sale. As Dana brought out so beautifully, she covered all concerning how the notification, how a homeowner is notified about the taxes that need to be paid on the property, and how they have uh, ample time to go and pay it. And like she said, be like the day before, they have an opportunity to go to the courthouse or to the tax place and pay the taxes. So basically, I got involved in this particular area that for one reason I wanted to own property, and for another reason I wanted to help people that wanted to purchase property if they decide to do so, that they can purchase the property that I had purchased at a tax sale. But for the first thing, number one, you would need to start with here we have Berkeley County, Dorchester County, Charleston County. You need to start with the counties that you are interested in going to the tax lien sale. And most of the time, you find the information on the county's webpage, a website that tells you when the tax sale is going to be conducted. So basically, I looked up a couple like Berkeley County delinquent tax sale is November the 6th, 2023. So you have to register you have to register October the 19th through October the 31st. You can register online or you can go to the facility itself, to the tax place itself and register. There's a $10 register fee. You cannot get into the tax lien facility to bid on the property until you have went and make sure that you register. You can't register the day of. Once the registration has ended, you are not allowed to go to participate in the auction itself. So you can't do that. So you need to make sure, number one, the counties that you're interested in, you must know the date of the tax lien sale when it's going to be. You need to register on time to make sure that you have a spot or you will be able to enter into the tax sale itself. And there's only cost $10 to register. They will give you a number that you will use when you go into the facility itself to go bid. You have a number, and that number identifies you as the individual that want to purchase the land. Two things I must emphasize here. It will take some work on your half. Counties do advertise the property that's for sale. They advertise it in the newspaper, the local newspapers. Most of the time, it's 1 month before the actual sale. So if you want to, that would be a good idea to get the newspaper, look through the land that you want to bid on, or try to purchase, so you can have that and know what you want to do concerning that. It's like using strategy. Do your homework first, because sometimes it be over 1,000 properties that they are going to auction off, and you don't want to bid on each one. So you want to bid on the ones that you desire to do so. So I encourage you to get a newspaper, to do your homework, use a strategy to see what properties is being they're selling, and which one that you would like to bid on. Also, here Berkeley County has a county tax map grid, and that grid would tell you the locations of the property that you decide to bid on, and it tells you like if it's in Goose Creek or if it's in some other location. You can use that grid map to tell you where the land is being sold or what the location is that you're wanting to buy. Okay, so basically, those are the things you do beforehand. Get a local newspaper, locate the land that you're interested in bidding for. Get a grid map so you know where the land is located. If it's a piece of property that you don't want to bid on, so there's no point of wasting time, looking at or bidding for that. You want to pinpoint or strategize the land that you want to actually purchase. So that's why I encourage you to do beforehand. Now, once you decide to go into the auction itself, it's going to be a lot of people there. It's going to be a lot of people there bidding on the property with you. A lot. And like I said, that's why you need a strategy. You need to know what you're going to bid on. They usually start with the property that costs the most, the highest property. Highest property is there. Some properties go up to $1 million, but they usually start with that property, and then they work themselves down to the lower price of property. You have to be patient, because most of the time you have to be there mostly all day long waiting for the piece of property that you want to purchase. But that's is the price you have to pay for the purchase of the property that you want to get. The property starts at, when they start auction, you have your number, which is on like I call it a fan, basically. You have your auctioneers there. They are beginning to auction. The price of the land starts at what the taxes are owed on the land. If the tax for the land is $550, that is where the auction starts at. And then as people bid for it, the prices quickly increase, because the highest bidder is the one that gets the property, the highest bidder. So you got people there that is working to outbid you, and they have done their homework. They know what property they want to purchase, and they don't mind giving the price that is required for them to get the property that they so desire. So we have property being auctioned off. You have land, you have houses and land, you have businesses, buildings, and all of that that's been auctioned off. Now, when I went to myself, the county I went to, I went to Dorchester County. I purchased 3 properties at the Dorchester County sale, 3 properties. And when I went to the Berkeley County sale, I purchased 5 properties. The 2 of the 3 at Dorchester County, I sold those. I sold one property. I paid $2,200 for one property. I sold that for $15,000 to a homeowner that wanted to build a house there. The second property I purchased, it was $3,300, and I sold that for $20,000 to another homeowner that wanted to put a house there. Besides that, there was a mobile home, a single wide mobile home that was on the property. I put in a bid for that of $200. I sold that for $2,500 to a young lady that needed a place of her own to put on her mother's property, and I sold that to her for $2,500. The last one I sold was in Berkeley County. I sold that for $5,000. So basically, I sold the ones that was not redeemed. I sold them. I will talk about being redeemed in a minute. I sold those properties. And the ones I bought a total of 8, 5 of the 8 was redeemed by the owner, which means that the owner, once you purchase the property at the auction, you have to go and you have to pay at the end of the day the total amount for all the property, the total amount. If your cost came to $20,000, you must give them a cashier check for $20,000. They don't take cash, cashier check for $20,000. And so it has to be paid. If you do not pay it at the end of the day, number one, you are fined $500 for falsely attending an auction and not paying for the property that you bid upon. And also that they have to go back and put the property back into the bid process again and start all over again. So they want to make sure before you leave that day that you go ahead and pay for the property. Now, one good thing about that, the owner, even though you purchased the property, it's not yours. It still belongs to the individual. Okay? They have 1 year in South Carolina to redeem the property back from you. 1 year. So if you pay $5,000 for a piece of property at the auction, they must pay you $5,000, return your money plus interest, whatever the county decide the interest would be. I think the highest interest is like 12%. They must pay you $5,000 and up to 12%. So the longer they wait, closer to the year, end of the year, is 12%. If they get it within 2 or 3 months after you purchase it, it's 3%. Then it goes up to 6%, then goes up to 9%, then goes up to 12%. So if you purchase it, they have to pay you $5,000 plus the interest on the $5,000 in order for them to redeem their property. So they have 1 year to redeem the property back. 1 year. So basically, if they decide to redeem it back, which I had, like I said, I had 5 of the 8 that did redeem the property back. And the 3 of that I sold those 3. But they do have a chance, an opportunity to redeem it back. And with the way, it's not about making the money, but it's about having a purpose. My purpose was to, if I purchase it, I could sell it less than what they said on the market that is, if it's appraised for, less than what that a person has to pay for that. So I used that opportunity, and I met three homeowners that was looking for land, wanted to purchase the land to either build a house or to put a double wide trailer there. So it was a good cause involved. It was a good opportunity involved to help someone. So basically, you get your money back, and you got to do your homework. You got to do the work that is required to do that. The auction itself is like any other auction. You are there. Uh, you with the mindset that I want to get this. You are there bidding against other people, and there's no limit how high it could go. It depends on how bad someone wants the property, and that is the only one thing about it that you really must know what you're going there for. I went with the mindset that I wanted nothing less than 2 acres of land and nothing more than 3 acres of land. That was the mindset. So every time the auction came up with 2 acres of land or more, I bid it for it. I actually bid and got 10 acres of land for $5,000. And I was hoping and and didn't want the owner to redeem it basically, but they did. Uh, they at the last minute they redeemed it and got their land back. But 10 acres of land was a lot of land to be able to have and to do some great things for the community and for other people. But that's what that's they redeemed it back. So I'm saying to you that if you would take with a mindset how much land you want to buy, and then you can let that be your focus and your plan to do that, because you're there. The action move very quickly. It's not too much thinking and opportunity. Once they announce the price, you got to go for it. Once they say this is it, you got to go for it. So if how you would like to do your job and not your job, your responsibility, how you want to spend your money, and what you want to do concerning that. Okay. So basically, I had to wait a whole year before after they redeemed it. When December came around, they had not redeemed it. The county notified me, and they said that here is the deed. They sent me 3 deeds for the property that was not redeemed. So I used those properties, and I talked with Damon, real estate agent. I met him probably 6 or 7 months before then. We was at a meeting, we was talking, and I said, "This is what I do. I go to these tax sales and I purchase this land, and I need to know, because I need someone to work with me." So him and I met, and I got the deeds in my name. Well, I take that back. The deeds was in my LLC name. So I received the deeds. When I received the deeds, we met, and I discussed with him what I want to do with the land, that I want to sell all of it. And we discussed the price that we would ask for it. I told him I didn't want to, I'm not trying to make, be rich or something like this. I just wanted to be able to help someone that needed a place or needed land to build a house or to make it put a double wide trailer, something like that. So basically, we was able to come up with a price. He advertised it for me, and then we was able to close on all 3 of the deals at different times. And I was able to meet all the individuals, all the sellers. I was able to meet all of them, and they told me what they would basically want to do and what they want to do with the land. So that worked out great. And like I said, most of them use it to do a home, to build a home, or to put a double wide there. Your process, to highlight the process, If you do your work beforehand, your strategy beforehand, then most of your work is done. Getting the time of the sale, registering for the sale, looking at all of the, getting the local newspaper, looking at what properties will be sold, attending the auction. It's an all-day auction, being there all day. But if you go with the mindset, these are the properties that I want to purchase, these are the properties I want to get, these are the areas that I want to focus on, then you have a plan. And you leave there, you will leave the tax sale having some property that you have purchased. But again, I want to emphasize, you got to wait a whole year. It's not yours. So they do have an opportunity to get it, to redeem it back. They do have an opportunity to pay the taxes, but they have to pay what you paid for it plus interest. And I think that concerning that is a great way not to help people, because I bought a half acre land. The market probably costs what, 40,000, 45,000 down here. But he was able to purchase for me for 20,000. So I saved the homeowner $20,000. And is the mindset I go into. The young lady that had 3 children, no place to stay, was able to pay $2,500 for a single wide mobile home in great shape, and that she was able to make her home until she began to find out how she can improve her life. So if you do your homework early, before everything else, do your homework early. And I mean early. Grid map, knowing what you're going to buy. Just get that knowledge that it requires to know what you're investing in, the location of it, the condition of it, the neighborhood, the community, and how your purchase of that could help the community and be better for the community. Like I said, to this time, I'm going to Berkeley County, Charleston County, and Dorchester County delinquent tax sale. Berkeley County is December the 6th. Charleston tax sale is December the 4th. And Dorchester tax sale is November the 20th. The taxes that's for sale, the property that's for sale will be in the local newspaper at least 1 month prior to the tax sale itself. 1 month prior. So I'll get the paper and I will identify, highlight, location, what I want to bid for, how those things. I would do all of that before I go. Next step, register. $10 to register. Next step, make sure the money is available in your account, because they won't cash your checks. And you don't have the next day, I bought it today, I'll pay for it tomorrow. No. If the sale ends at 4 o'clock, you got to pay for it by 4 o'clock. The total amount, the total price. Okay? Get it, keep it. 12 months later, the deeds will come to you in the mail. Automatically, the county send them out in the mail. They be in your name. Then you can do as you choose. Keep it, sell it, give it away. It's yours. And that is how it works. I see some questions here. So are all properties inhabitable or buildable? Buildable. I would say yes, they are. Some might have to be cleaned off, but it depends. Most of the time when you buy property, the homeowner has already moved and they just left it like it was. So you have to do some work.
Let me go
What?
ahead and pop these up so people can see the questions.
Okay,
Which one did you want to
that's
go
no
to?
problem. What if I'm the highest bidder and I choose not to purchase the property for any reason? Mm.
I have
It,
an I do have an answer for that too. So,
okay, go ahead.
um, well, this is the thing. This is in Maryland. South Carolina may be different, and I am just so appreciative of Mr. Brown giving it to us. So, what happens on the Maryland side is if we win the tax lien certificate, it's not automatic redemption. I mean, it's not automatic like it would be in South Carolina. So, if in Maryland, if you take no action to foreclose on the property, you actually lose the money that you put in.
Okay. Down here, I believe that they would charge you a fee for making the highest bidder and then choose not to purchase the property. Because once you bid on it and they say that you're the one that's going to purchase it, then they take it off the list and they move to something else. So they
Oh,
really lost money on that. They probably charge a person a fee for
oh,
not following that
oh,
up.
okay. I think I may misread the question. I thought if they were the highest bidder, let's say that you were the highest bidder and you got the tax lien certificate, which means the owner still owns it until the year later that if they don't redeem it and you
Yes,
don't want it.
that is true. But before you leave that day, you have to pay for whatever property that you bid for.
Right, right. I was
At
thinking, I don't know. I was thinking the question was, do you get the property? I'm like, no, not yet.
the no,
But
it's in the highest bidder because everybody's closed out. When you got the highest bidder, the auctioneer say, okay, you got the properties, so it goes to you. Then they move on to another set of property, but so they have lost in that property, so they
yes,
probably would fine you something.
yeah.
I think $500 what they would fine a person for bidding on a property and not choosing not to take it.
Yeah, the county that we have been working with, they not only fine you, but they also bar you from making any other bids. So that they got the double whammy going there.
You know, they probably okay. The other question is a deposit required to bid on property at a tax deed sale? No, no deposit is required.
Okay. Now,
No.
keeping in mind, this question was on a tax deed sale. We do not have we're not talking
Oh, that's
about
tax
tax
lien. That's
deed.
true. That's
We're
true.
talking about tax lien. So it
Yes.
depends on the county or the municipality. So may I, Mr. Brown, do a shameless plug?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everyone, I hope that you've been enjoying and getting some good, valuable information from Mr. Brown on his experiences with the tax lien process. This is valuable information. Go back and listen to it. If you have any questions, please make sure that you put them in the comments section. Also, like and subscribe because effective May 1st, the loan level price adjustment takes effect, and that's for new homeowners. So, if you have not seen any of our lives, our last live, if you go to the description in the live, it talks about the loan level price adjustment. It affects all homeowners that are under Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae. So, that is my shameless plug for our next gen channel. Thank you.
The next
I
question.
I think let's see. I think
Oh,
there's a question on here that it doesn't okay, so I think you've made it clear on the tax lien portion, just because you win the bid, you just have a lien on the property. You don't actually own the property. Now,
no,
in some places, it's different, but I think the reason why they have 12 months on the tax lien is because the taxes are still being accrued even after. So let's say you win in 2023, there's going to come a time when taxes for 24 is going to be due as well.
that is true.
So,
And you're gonna probably be end up paying 24 also
okay,
later on.
okay.
Yeah. Now the other thing that, as you brought out, you are not allowed to go on the property. You're not allowed to ride by the property. because you're not the owner of the property.
Okay.
And that
Now,
and they strictly that's very strictly enforced. Because some people say, I bought your property, I can go on your property. No, they have a year to redeem, and you don't have no permission or no right to go on the property itself.
okay, I do have a, it's not on the in the chat, but there is a question. If you're doing your homework to take a look at where the property is, you can drive by before the bid, correct?
Well, you could, but that is something
You don't recommend it?
that I would not recommend it. That's why
Okay.
you have the grid maps, the grid
Okay.
map,
Okay.
because property like this, if you have a property that says 166 at the beginning of it, it tells you the exact location, if it's in Goose Creek or wherever municipality is located, as you know. But I would not recommend that. I guess
Okay.
people do it, but you might not even be, you
Now,
might
I
not
mean,
be the
I,
one that redeem it. I mean, not redeem it. You might not be the one that purchase it,
that's
because you
that's
got
true. That's
you
true.
got 100 people, well, hundreds of people there trying to get the same thing that you want. And that's why I really emphasize about doing your homework, knowing what specific piece of property that you would like to put a bid on.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. For the people that are bidding for the tax lien, do they physically have to be there?
Yes.
Okay. So they
Oh,
can't
yes.
be sitting someplace in Maryland making bids.
No, no. You gotta be you gotta be presently there, and you have to have the number there. Once you did your registration, and you go that morning, you sign in, and they will give you a number, and that's how they identify you, just by that number. Uh, Concerning that, and once you over with that, you go to the cashier and you pay and you do your cashier check. That's
That
it.
would definitely give me a reason to come down there. That'd be really cool just to check things out. Um, did you have anything else, Mr. Brown, that you would want to share with us? I mean, this was like we got to have you back. Now, let me ask you this: how many, if you can share with us, how
Hmm.
many properties did you bid on, and did you win? Because I think you said you that a lot of them were redeemed, and then you actually were able to get three and then sell them.
Well, I really paid taxes on 8 properties,
Okay.
on 8 of them. Um, 5 was redeemed.
Okay.
So it's like I was getting a check every month.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
amazing. Yes. I mean, once they redeem them, they send you the money. The
Okay.
account will send you the money. So I was getting a check like March, one in April, one in May. It kept going on like that. And then once the year ended, I had 3 that was not redeemed. And in January, the end of January, or the first part of February, I received the 3 Ds in my LLC name. And that's when I went to sell them.
Okay,
To
great.
make plans to sell them. Yes.
Okay, so that we're clear. So let's say the person owed, I'm just doing an illustration here so people can grasp why it's so important to
Okay.
pay the taxes. So let's say someone owes $500 in taxes and
Mm-hmm.
they don't pay it for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
You put in a bid for 5,000.
No. What happens is that, let's say the example you just gave, they owe $500. They will start the bid. The auctioneer will start the bid at $500,
Right.
but it probably end up being, when it's over with, probably end up selling for $10,000,
Okay. So you
because
went
the
to it.
floor the floor is open and people are just bidding.
Okay. Okay. So the person owed $500 on the taxes, right? The
Yes,
person wins the bid for 10,000.
that's correct.
So you're telling me, to make sure I'm clear on this, that if they had paid the that when it's all said and done, not only do they need to pay the 10,000, but they'll also have to pay interest on the 10,000.
That's correct.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, that's that you're definitely correct.
Wow. Okay. Now, everybody keep in mind, this is South Carolina. This
Yeah,
is
this.
Berkeley, Dorchester, and Charleston County, because I promise you, it's not like that up here. Wow.
That is correct. So
So,
it's like you brought earlier. It's necessity that people pay their taxes on time during that time because once they get in there and get into that tax lien sale, $500 will go up. Property will go up to tax property go up to about 10 to 15,000 sometimes. Depends
oh,
how bad someone want that property.
okay. And then the other thing too, okay, so because the person didn't pay the $500, right? And now
Right.
they have to pay $10,000. Like if I could pay the 500, I paid the 500. Now it's $10,000 and I wait a whole year, then I invariably could lose my property that could be worth $100,000.
That's correct. Because, like you said, if they can't pay 500, I doubt very seriously they'd be able to pay 10,000.
So the only thing I could recommend, and usually this happens, and you remember it's 12 months. Now, if you don't do your estate planning, let's say the person had passed away, and you're not, and this is just my personal opinion, if you
Okay.
don't do the estate planning, it could take longer than a year. You could be talking about multiple owners, potential owners, right?
Well, that is true. That is true. That is
So
definitely true.
they lose the property that's worth $100,000 and they'll get nothing for it. I mean, they can if they sell it, the only thing they could do is that's a lien, so they have to satisfy that lien. That's the only thing they can do to save it. You know what I mean?
Well, it'd be too late to save it. Once it hit that tax, well, they can redeem it, but once they go to tax sale, whatever the person bid for, the amount is the amount they're gonna have to pay.
Okay, okay. And they can't turn around and try to sell the property because that lien will be sitting there.
No,
The
no,
county the
no,
county knows that there's a lien right there. That
they
has to be
don't.
satisfied.
That's correct.
Okay, okay,
That is, they can't sell it or get from under. That's they just gotta redeem it.
okay.
Pay for
Now,
what you paid for it.
right. Now, the taxes that the county, now, just so that we're not making everybody the bad guy, the reason for the tax lien investor is to pay the taxes that is used to pay for those services that they get. Berkeley County, Charleston County, Dorchester County. The taxes are used to pay for those services, right?
That is correct. That is how they continue to operate by receiving those fundings from property taxes. That's what they're there for. Um, but again, is I don't know. It's just sometimes it's unusual circumstances that happens and that causes people not to be able to do that. But again, like I said earlier, I try to use it as a point to find homeowners that can be able to use the property to purchase the proper homes and things of that nature. So, like the one I purchased for the young lady for the trailer was on there, and I purchased the trailer as well as the property. Uh, one day, the owner just up and walked away. I mean,
That happens. Yeah, that happens.
that happened. He just walked away, and the I have to give county credit. Now, the county tried all they could to contact him, to get in touch with him. They send letters after letters trying to find the person, let him know, but there was no response. So, and those things happens, and that's why they do that. But I mean, a tax lien is a way. Uh, I'm not sure how much. I say if Berkeley County raised $30 million from a tax lien, that's money they can use to provide services to the citizens in that particular municipality.
Right. When I have property in Charleston, and when I get my tax bill, I actually can see what the taxes are used for and how they're being apportioned.
Well, that is true. And
So,
they have schools and
yes.
colleges and all of that. Yeah, that is
Yeah,
true.
I think mine said Trident Tech on there. So, yeah,
Yes,
so you know exactly where your money is going. But
that is
but
true.
but a lot of times people have property they don't want anymore, or again, like I was talking about the estate planning situation where things are not in order, if you will.
Agreed. But you know something, I rather um, I think that if someone has the right motive to go to a tax lien, not I'm not saying just chasing a dollar, but use it to help someone else, or use it for a to be a help to people that are looking for to build land to build homes on. It's a good thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it'll help out, and see that that's my purpose. I want to purchase 2 and 3 acres of land and say, hey, you want to buy this, or you want to sell this, sell it to build you a house on it. And like
Yeah.
I said, it's less than what they can buy it on the market,
Yes, sir. Yes,
uh,
sir.
less than that. So
Well, like you said, the county has it's they've exhausted by the time they come to the tax sale, they've exhausted all of their options.
they
They
have.
and it costs money to do these things. So at
Yes,
the end of the day, you're providing a service to not only paying the taxes for someone, but you're also providing homes for people who would not have gotten it otherwise. So that is that's a positive. It's a plus. It's a win-win for everybody.
it is. It is weird. And then instead of property just sitting there, uh, no one taking care of it, not being taken care of. There's a could be in the community that no one is taking care of. It could be a help to the community because you purchase it, you go in there and you clean it up, and you make they have a use for it now. So
Yeah.
it's a win-win situation. But I just want to leave that, do your homework. Just do your diligence concerning what you want to purchase. Be have a target. Be focused, and you'll come out there with some good property.
Okay. Well, that has been some valuable information. Let me see, make sure there's no other questions in the comment section. We definitely have to have you back, but definitely stand by. Um, Again, everyone, make sure that you like, comment, and share this video. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and subscribe. And we will talk to you soon. Thank you again, Mr. Brown. Graciously, we appreciate all of your knowledge. So stand by because we have something for you.
Okay.
Everyone, have a great weekend.